This is the second day for lesson 1 of chapter 3, titled Parallel Lines and Transversals. And so let's take a look at the first type of question you're going to see. It says use the figure to find the measure of the numbered angles. Explain your reasoning. So we'll start with angle number 1. So angle number 1 is going to end up equaling 180 minus 99 degrees. And so when we go ahead and subtract those two numbers, we end up with 81 degrees. And so the reason why is that they're supplementary. So supplementary is what we're going to end up using there. Supplementary angles. And so all supplementary angles just add to make 180 degrees. And so when we take a look at another one, I could say 99 degrees is vertical to angle 2. So we could say angle 2 equals 99 degrees. And one way to say it is that they're vertical. So vertical angles are ones in which they share the common vertex. And then we could say angle 3 is also ends up being 81 degrees. And the reason why it's 81 degrees is because it's vertical to angle 1. And so there's other ways to do it. We could have said that it was supplementary to angle 2 or supplementary to the given angle. But that's just one way. So let's take a look at angle 4. Angle 4 is equal to angle 2, which is 99 degrees. And the reason why is because it is an alternate interior angle. And whenever we have parallel lines like we do here, we know that alternate interior angles are always going to end up being congruent. And so let's take a look at the next one. Angle 5, well, that one would end up being the same as angle 3, which is 81 degrees, and we could say also it is an alternate interior angle. So it's an alternate interior angle to angle 3 in this case. So angle 4 is equal to 99 because it's alternate interior to angle 2. So let's take a look at the next one. We've got angle 6. And angle 6, we could say something else. We could say maybe angle 6 is equal to 99 degrees because it's an alternate exterior angle to the given angle that we have. So see how 99 degrees outside the parallel lines? So is angle 6. They're on opposite sides of the transversals. So anytime we have that's an alternate exterior angle. Angle 7 is congruent to angle 3. And angle 3 we said was 81 degrees. And so I know those because they are corresponding. So there's lots of ways to say what the angles are, more than one way to prove that they are equal to a certain angle. But these are just one of those ways. So corresponding angle to angle 3. So 7 and 3 are kind of in the same space to the left-hand side with respect to the transversal. So moving on to the next one, it says if the measure of angle 2 is 48 degrees. So they're going to use the same figure here, but they're going to change the degrees of the angles. And they said if angle 2 is 48 degrees, what is angle 3 going to be? Well, notice how 2 is an acute and 3 is a obtuse angles. They're not the same. These are called same side. They're same side of the transversal, same side interior. And same side interior always end up equaling 180 degrees when we sum. So I guess we could end up saying, same side interior angles sum to 180 degrees. So if that's the case, to find out what angle 3 is, I just have to add angle 1 or angle 2 and angle 3, and they equal 180. So if I subtract that 48 degrees from both sides, that would give me my answer. So 132 degrees would be what angle 3 would end up being. So that's one way to find that. And that was my reasoning here. I could also say something about, we talked about how whenever we've got parallel lines, if they're obtuse angles, they're equal, and acute angles, they're equal. Well, we have an obtuse and acute, and those must add to make 180 degrees. So if measure of angle 7 is equal to 50.5, what's the measure of angle 6? Well, we see the same thing. You see measure of angle 7 is acute, and then measure of angle, or the angle 6, is obtuse. So whenever I've got those obtuse angles and the acute, so the acute plus the obtuse is going to end up equaling 180 degrees when we have parallel lines. We'll say when lines are parallel. So let's go ahead and fix that. So equal to 180 degrees when lines are parallel. So anytime we've got those parallel lines, that's going to end up being the case. So we could also prove that by saying, well, 7 is corresponding to 2, and 2 and 6 are supplementary angles, so we just have to subtract, and that's what I'm going to do here. So that was another way we could say it. 7 is equal to angle 2, because they are corresponding, and we could end up saying that angle 2 and angle 6 add to make 180 degrees because they are supplementary. So there's lots of ways to specify what angles are, and those are just one of them. So let's go ahead and find out what this one is. So I have to subtract at 50 and 5/10. Remember, when we're subtracting, we've got to add a decimal point and a 0 and borrowing all the way back from that 7, changing that 10 to a 9, and we end up with 5 point, well, we have 9 and 5, and then 7 minus 5 makes 2, so 129.5 degrees is the measure of angle 6. So let's take a look at the next one. It says measure of angle 3. Measure of angle 3 is 118.7 degrees. What's the measure of angle 2? Angle 2, oh, well, this is the same as the last problem. So let's change that. Let's make this a little bit different here. Let's change this so we have something else there. Let's try a measure of angle, oh, how about 5? Let's change it up a little bit. So we said that the, and actually I kind of want those to equal, so let's change that again. So let's go back, and we might put in there, how about angle 3 is that? Let's go with 6. So we can say 6. Well, angle 6 is corresponding. So there's a few different ways we could do this. We could say angle 3 is congruent to angle 6 because they're corresponding. So I know that in this case they will equal each other. So I know it's going to end up equaling 118.7 degrees. But another way I could do it is I could do angle 3 is congruent to angle 1. And I know that because those are alternate interior angles. And I could then say, well, angle 1 is equal or is congruent to angle 6. And why? Well, they're vertical angles. So there's more ways than one to show how angles are congruent. We're just using those different terms to do so. So those are the types you're going to end up seeing on the homework tonight. Good luck.